Princess Lyra of the Vorthak Empire had never experienced such an unusual sensation coursing through her crystalline blue veins. For 3 centuries, she had maintained perfect composure during diplomatic negotiations, her ethereal grace and calculated responses earning respect across 17 star systems. Her people admired her unshakable calm, her ability to mediate conflicts between warring species with nothing more than a gentle word, and her luminescent silver eyes. The human delegation had arrived on Vorthak Prime 3 days ago, requesting sanctuary for their battered fleet after a devastating encounter with the mechanical harvester armada. Lyra had graciously agreed to the meeting, expecting another routine, diplomatic exchange. What she had not anticipated was Staff Sergeant Jake Morrison. Unlike the other humans who wore formal diplomatic attire, Morrison remained in his tactical uniform, the fabric bearing scorch marks and tears from recent battles. His dark hair was unkempt, his jaw shadowed with stubble, and his brown eyes held a weariness that spoke of countless struggles. Where Lyra's people moved with flowing elegance, Morrison carried himself with purposeful efficiency. Where her species spoke in melodic tones, his voice carried a rough directness that somehow made her pulse quicken. "Your Highness," Morrison said during their first meeting, offering a brief nod rather than the elaborate bow her station typically commanded. "We appreciate your willingness to help us." The simple acknowledgement should have felt insufficient, even disrespectful. Instead, Lyra found herself studying the way his lips formed each word, noting how his respectful tone contrasted with his casual posture. Her advisors waited for her response, but for the first time in decades, words failed to come immediately. "Of course," she finally managed, her usually steady voice carrying an unfamiliar tremor. "The Vorthak Empire welcomes those who fight against the Harvester threat." Over the following days, Morrison's presence seemed to fill every room he entered. During strategic briefings, Lyra caught herself watching him sketch tactical diagrams with practiced efficiency, his scarred hands moving with surprising precision. When he spoke about human military doctrine, his passionate dedication to protecting civilians resonated with something deep within her consciousness. The princess had encountered thousands of warriors from dozens of species, but none affected her quite like this human soldier. Her people valued contemplation and careful consideration, spending hours in meditation before making decisions. Morrison acted on instinct and experience, his quick thinking having saved countless lives during the war. The contrast should have been jarring, yet Lyra found herself drawn to his decisiveness. "The humans fight differently than anyone we've encountered," her military advisor noted during a private council session. "They show remarkable adaptability under pressure." "Indeed," Lyra replied, though her thoughts focused more on how Morrison's eyes lit up when discussing innovative battle strategies, or how his rare smiles transformed his entire expression. The moment that shattered her composure completely came during a tour of their refugee quarters. Morrison was checking on wounded soldiers, moving between medical pods with genuine concern for each person's well-being. When he knelt beside a young private who had lost his arm to harvester weaponry, his gentle encouragement brought tears to the soldier's eyes. "You're going home, Danny," Morrison said softly. "Your family's waiting for you," Lyra observed from the doorway, her heart performing strange rhythms she had never experienced. The sight of this battle-hardened warrior showing such tenderness created feelings she lacked proper words to describe. When Morrison looked up and noticed her watching, his understanding nod nearly caused her knees to buckle. "Your Highness," he said, rising to approach her. "Thank you for taking care of my people." Standing close enough to notice the flecks of gold in his brown eyes, Lyra felt her carefully maintained mental barriers crumbling. Her advisors often praised her diplomatic skills, her ability to read intentions and respond appropriately. With Morrison, however, every interaction left her feeling delightfully off balance. "They deserve our finest care," she whispered, acutely aware of how her voice had dropped to an almost intimate tone. Morrison's expression softened, and for a moment, the war-weary soldier disappeared, replaced by someone who seemed to see past her royal title to the person beneath. "You're not what I expected from alien royalty." The comment should have been presumptuous, possibly even insulting. Instead, Lyra felt a warm flush spreading across her pale cheeks, her luminescent markings brightening involuntarily. She had never blushed before, had not even known her species possessed such a capability. "What did you expect?" she asked, surprised by her own boldness. "Someone more distant, I suppose," Morrison admitted, running a hand through his dark hair. "Someone who wouldn't personally ensure that every wounded soldier received proper treatment, or spend hours learning about human dietary requirements to make sure we're comfortable." Lyra's breath caught in her throat. She had indeed spent considerable time researching human needs, though she had convinced herself it was merely diplomatic thoroughness. Now, faced with Morrison's perceptive observation, she could no longer deny her true motivations. "Perhaps," she said carefully, "some expectations are meant to be challenged." Morrison's smile at her response sent electricity racing through her entire nervous system. For 3 centuries, Lyra had prided herself on emotional control, on maintaining the serene dignity expected of Vorthak royalty. In the space of 3 days, one human soldier had managed to undo centuries of careful conditioning. As they walked through the medical bay together, their conversations flowing with surprising ease, Lyra realized that everything about her carefully ordered existence was about to change. Morrison spoke of his home planet, of family traditions, and human customs that seemed both foreign and fascinating. She found herself sharing details about Vorthak culture that she had never discussed with outsiders, drawn by his genuine curiosity and respectful questions. When the time came for the human fleet to depart, newly supplied and ready to continue their fight against the Harvesters, Lyra stood on the observation deck, watching the ships prepare for departure. Morrison appeared beside her, his presence both comforting and heartbreaking. "Thank you, Your Highness," he said formally, though his eyes conveyed deeper gratitude. "For everything." "Safe travels, Staff Sergeant Morrison," she replied, struggling to maintain royal composure while her heart threatened to shatter. As his transport pulled away from the station, Lyra pressed her hand against the viewport, watching, until the human ships disappeared into hyperspace. For the first time in her long life, the calm alien princess understood what it meant to feel truly flustered. And despite the ache in her chest, she found herself smiling at the profound beauty of such unexpected vulnerability.